I noticed my money that I was getting every week was decreasing, and I kept asking my boss, like, one day I just snapped on him. I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, why am I like getting less money? Why am I getting less money? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? And he surprised me with a Canon T3i. I was like, oh shit. And then he surprised me again with a MacBook. And I was like, what the hell? So I was stuck. And I remember flipping burgers at the same time and running to the computer and learning how to edit and having a full line of people like cooking fast and editing, cooking fast and then editing. And then like there was like these windows in front of the grill, and people were watching me literally edit these videos, like edit videos, and I would just shoot anything, my dog, a flower, like just to see whatever I read and learned like worked. And yeah, that story that's crazy too. Like I still can't believe that, and I'm still cool with it. Like.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much again for coming and checking out the Super Creators podcast. I'm your host, Super Manny, and today I have an amazing guest that I'm super excited to bring on. We've been planning this for like a good year and a half now, but we finally got it done. So I want to introduce everyone to our guest, who is director Gambino. Gambino, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Good, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Super nervous too, but I'm excited.
Nah, you're good. So, all right. So a little bit. I know. So you're known for being a music video director, right? Filmer, editor. You do everything. And you come from Queensbridge, New York, which is a known community for those of you who are in the hip hop scene. So just give us a little bit of background, like a little bit of just where you started, where you come from.
All right. So originally, I actually lived in Massachusetts, Queens. If I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but I lived in Massachusetts, Queens for a little bit, and then my mom ended up having to basically like move to Queensbridge, and like it was my first time ever seeing projects before, because I lived in like a really suburbs, mostly generally white neighborhood, and I never really got to see anyone like I didn't really listen to rap music like that. It was mostly like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears and shit. I grew up with a lot of girls in the house, like a lot of cousins that were girls, so I was the only boy. So like yeah, it was crazy. And I moved to Queensbridge when I was about maybe like 6 or 7, and I was like introduced more or less to like rap music, obviously, and like like Echo and like Rockaware and like all these like name brand clothes that people wear. So I got into that, and I just like I was there for forever, and I learned like this whole different if you would say like a whole different world, because I've never seen that before. Like I've never seen it. I never had a bacon, egg, and cheese at the corner store. Never really been to a city like that. Like I've never really didn't. I was just a little kid. I didn't really experience that at all. Even the school that I went to didn't even have like what they would say like the bad kids from the neighborhood type of thing. So it was just predominantly like a white school type of shit, and it was crazy. Like I learned a lot going there, and it's just crazy, like really crazy.
All right. So that was a little bit of like change of pace and neighborhood of things that you were used to.
Yeah.
So how did you start your like creative journey? Like what got you into wanting to pick up the camera?
This is a funny story right here. So basically I used to want to be a Disney actor. I really like the Disney Channel so much. Like I used to watch a lot of like Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, I want to be an actor, man. So I remember I hit up my dad, and my dad was like, yo, we'll put you in acting school. So I went to acting school and everything. And at the same time, my mom would not allow me to go outside because the neighborhood was pretty bad. Like there's a lot of like bad things, like prostitution and drugs, and just a lot of bad things happening in that neighborhood. And my mom would never let me outside. So it was literally like school, home, school, home, school, home. And then I would see my dad on the weekends, and one day I told him, I was like, hey, I want to be an actor. He put me in acting school. We started going to acting class. I was doing really well. And at the same time, I would sneak out of my house and basically sneak out of my house and go to, I don't know if you're familiar with the rapper Nas. He's from my
No, yeah,
neighborhood.
of course.
Yeah, he's from my neighborhood. So I actually would sneak to his video shoots that he would shoot in the neighborhood and just to watch them. And I would watch them and watch them. And one day I went to the park and I was still in acting school. And I went to the park and I basically sat in front of like the screen. I saw like they were doing something, and this dude with long beard, long hair, kind of like a hippie type of dude, actually asked me if I could hold the camera while he sipped some water.
Oh
And I
snap.
remember I grabbed the camera, I looked at him, and I was like, "Yo, this is pretty cool." I mean, I go to acting class, I've seen the camera, I've never really touched it. We weren't allowed. And he goes to me, "Yeah, man, one day everyone will be able to have a cinema camera." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, man, think about it." Yeah. And I'll never forget this. He was like, "Think about it. Like, when you're no longer here, your art will always be here." And I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. And then I completely quit acting school, and I basically would just go on YouTube and like watch it without a camera, like
Oh
literally.
snap. That's dope. Actually, that's that's hilarious. So you actually started in acting, but
Yeah,
then saw what was happening with like on your block with the music videos and went to check that out.
and it was all the time, man. Like I would sneak out my house because my mom did not allow me to go outside because, a lot of people in that neighborhood, a lot of people like get shot. It's like
Yeah.
something that really happens. It's just crazy. Like so, my mom. I understood my mom. Like, hey, I'm like the only Spanish kid on the neighborhood. By the way, at the time, like I was the only Spanish kid, and I would get picked on in that neighborhood anyway. So it was cool. Okay,
Damn. Yeah, because you're Puerto Rican, right?
yeah,
From Puerto Rican
and
side.
it
Okay.
was, yeah, man. Only Puerto Rican in that literally in that whole entire area. The community is 6 blocks, 96 buildings, and there's like over 10,000 residents and probably even more undocumented that live there. So it's like not, and I'm not saying like undocumented as in like immigration or anything like that, but even people who probably stay in people's houses for amount of time, and there'll be
Yeah.
like 15 people in a house. So like it was just a crazy era in time. It was just nuts,
Yeah,
nuts.
no, no, for sure, for sure. No, I'm familiar because I was born and raised in Jersey City.
Shit.
So right by the Hudson River, like
Mhm.
that crosses or whatever. And the same. I mean, we lived in the whole apartment complex that got
Yeah,
crazy. It wasn't obviously it's not as bad as New York or Queensbridge, but
yeah. Everyone has their crazy experience with those type of things.
dope. So all right, so you started watching the music videos, you quit acting. When did you actually pick up your camera and you were like, all right, I'm gonna try this? Or what was your first like video that you recorded?
I was at a friend's house, and I remember he had his cousin there, and I had my boy there, and I was watching he had a camera. He had like a camera, and like it was a Canon camera that you couldn't take out the lens. And I remember at the same time that was happening, I was actually in my high school throwing a lot of parties that we weren't allowed to have. Like at the time, we were young, so you have to be obviously 21 and over to do hookah and shit. So I manipulated all the clubs in my area to
Damn.
allow us young teenagers to go there. So I started really recording that for fun, like us doing all this crazy stuff and
Okay.
hookah and doing all this stuff. And one day, I remember after that, we went to my friend's house, and his homegirl was there, and it was me and his cousin was there, and I saw a Justin Bieber video, and I was like, yo, I would love to. I was like, I would love to just record something like this. Let's do some acting. And I just did it, and it looked so good. I remember I downloaded Final Cut my first time using it, and I remember before maybe a few weeks before that, I didn't have a camera, so I would literally just watch tutorials and write everything down, like what this meant, what that meant. And once I had that camera in my hand, I just shot that. It looked cool. I deleted it, but it looked great, and I was just like, "Whoa, this is different. I could do this. Like, I could definitely do this. This is my thing." And I felt that instantly. I touched the camera. I felt it. Like my life was gonna change.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think most of us have that kind of um, start where you just kind of like pick it up, you start filming something, but then you just get so immersed in it, you just get sucked in, and you just learning and editing and making things.
And mind you, I was working at a deli, and I literally was working at a deli at the same time. And I remember like a lot of worked at the local deli, and a lot of rappers from the neighborhood would come to me, and I'd be like, "Yo, I'm gonna shoot videos, man." And they used to be like, "Nah, man, you don't be flipping these burgers and shit." And I was like, "Nah, bro, like I'm gonna really be shooting videos. Watch." And I would tell them every day, and it was just crazy. Like even how I got my first actual camera was crazy. Like it's insane. I noticed my money that I was getting every week was decreasing, and I kept asking my boss. Like one day, I just snapped on him. I was like, "Dude, what the hell? Like, why am I like getting less money? Why am I getting less money? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?" And he surprised me with a Canon T3i. I was like, "Oh shit!" And then he surprised me again with a MacBook, and I was like, "What the hell?" So I was stuck, and I remember flipping burgers at the same time and running to the computer and learning how to edit, and having a full line of people like cooking fast and editing, cooking fast and then editing. And then like there was like these windows in front of the grill, and people were watching me literally edit these videos, like edit videos, and I would just shoot anything, my dog, a flower, like just to see whatever I read and learned like worked. And yeah, that's crazy too. Like I still can't believe that, and I'm still cool with
Yo,
it. Like
that's hella dope. That's crazy.
yeah, like it's a whole. There's an actual. We're actually my friend Yo Lix is actually doing like this documentary on this whole story, because there's a lot of detail into this story, and it's just unbelievable. Like how this, like you honestly think that this was like some written Disney shit.
Yeah.
Everything literally fell to like the T, from the deli guys helping me. And mind you, they're not even from here. Like I would teach them English, and they would teach me about being Muslim and stuff.
Yeah.
And one day he just asked me like, "Hey, what is your dream?" And I was like, "Yo, I want to be a director. Like I want to shoot videos." And then next thing you know, they helped me get my first. They gave me my first MacBook, my first camera. Like they literally believed in this thing that I didn't even fully start, and they believed it. And it was just so crazy, like to get that experience, because it's like they knew it was gonna happen, and I didn't. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna see what happens. If this works, this works. Local videographer shit,
Yeah.
nothing crazy. I think I was charging like $20 a video.
What?
Real, this is
Holy
not.
crap.
If you find my Facebook, you will see that I have flyers that say $20, $50 type of thing.
Damn. I mean, but
Yeah,
yeah, you got to start. That's how you start. That's how you get the experience.
yeah,
Ooh.
it was crazy, man.
That's amazing, though, man. For your freaking like boss to like actually help you out and do that. That's
Right now he's
great.
chilling. Right now he's chilling in Yemen, back in Yemen, like, and he always hits me up like every few months, and he's like, "Yo, how you doing, man?" And he gets surprised like every time I send him a video. He's just like, "Damn, I knew it." Like he always says, like, "I knew it." Like you had it, kid. Like you had it. Because the way I would talk about film was so passionate, and he was like, "How could someone be so passionate if they never touched the camera before?"
Yeah.
And he always reminds me of that shit just to keep me level headed.
For
So
real. That's dope, though.
yeah,
Nah, that's amazing to freaking get that help and support early on. That's
yeah,
crazy.
man, it was nuts.
All right. So, what was your first like big break when it came to like directing? Like where you went from the local videographer to like, yo, I got my foot in the door.
All right, so I was in 2015 or 16. I can't put it what year. I ended up being kind of like hunt down by Hot 97. Somebody knew a guy from Hot 97 named DJ Sulo, and matter of fact, his name was Julio. Julio ended up wanting to. He spoke to my friend Gavin, because my friend Gavin showed him a video when they were at their studio, like some Hot 97 studio in Astoria. And Gavin was like, "Yeah, man, this is my boy Gambino. Like, he's fast and he does videos well." And they were amazed on what I was doing at that time with just a camera. When a lot of people at that era, there wasn't a lot of other videographers that were doing things, or at least making any noise. And I'm not saying I was making any type of noise, but more or less like within my community and era with the friends, they were just talking. And he's like, "Yo, I need to meet this guy." So they reached out to me, and I kind of ignored it at first because I didn't know if this was real or not. And I kept saying to myself, like, "Yo, that's a radio company. Like, what the hell they need me for?" And, I ended up meeting them, hanging out, and, we started just doing fun videos. my manager Julio, who actually discovered me from my friend Gavin, ended up knowing someone who worked at World Star Hip Hop, and he ended up getting me a meeting. And the guy realized, like the guy who ended up coming to meet us, he like seemed interested in everything, and I showed him how fast I turn around videos, which was the next day. Literally, I would shoot a video Monday, Tuesday morning, it was done, ready to go. No edit, no fine, no edits or anything like that. And I was beaming. We're talking like moving fast, editing and shooting. And the dude from Worldstar was like, you know what? I'm gonna sign you. And I remember he signed me. Before he signed me, the first video I actually got to work on was A Boogie Friend Zone. And I remember walking through that door and seeing A Boogie there. And this is like early stage A Boogie. And I'm like, oh fuck, I think I made it. I was like, I think I'm making it. And I remember after that, I still wasn't signed to them yet. Because they signed me as like if they were an agency and they would hand me the videos. And I had Uncle Murda and Maino as my second video. And then Bodak Yellow came around, and then I got finally like signed on paper. Before Bodak Yellow, I was signed up to it. And I remember Bodak Yellow happened, and then yo, bro, it just went crazy. Like it was like my whole life changed so fast in an instant. Like my followers grew so quickly, and it was just so nuts to see. Like my first real video was A Boogie Friend Zone. Then A Boogie and PNB Rock bet on it. And then all these hits, all these songs that were hitting hard in the streets, and my whole life that day just completely changed so fast. And I was only 3 years in to doing videos.
Yep.
And I never understood it. Like I never understood how, like, what the fuck, like what actually happened. Like to this day, I still am like astonished on how that happened. Like how it all just rolled out like that. And I never it was just nuts. Like it just kept going.
Crazy. Yeah, because I remember it. So I honestly have no idea how I stumbled upon like your page and finding out about you. Because I was probably just following like, videographers at the time and anybody who's doing like film work. And obviously the New York scene is big. So most like photographers, videographers are coming from New York.
Yeah.
And then I saw that you were doing like music videos and stuff, and I was like, all right, let me check them out. And then like later on, I found out, I'm like, yo, why does all the videos say like World Star Hip Hop? I'm like, is this guy make videos for them? And I was just like, and then I saw your videos on the page, and I'm like, chill the hell out.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
It was nuts seeing that, bro.
Yeah, because I know my business partner, Tony Delgado, he's from like New York in that area, and he always like he's big into hip hop. So every time like he would like send me videos and stuff because I was doing like editing work for him, like for like businesses and commercials and things. So I would see it and I'm like, and he sent me one video. I'm like, yo, I know the guy I follow the guy who made the video. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but I think that's when like I caught on and I started seeing like more of your work. And yeah, I've seen like one thing that I've noticed that really stood out more than anything was the turnaround time of your work. And I was like, there is no way this man is turning around videos on the daily. Like next day, and then I would see it, and they're like, "You shot, and it was edited, and then you had another shoot, and I'm like, how is he doing this?"
Yeah, it's crazy because now I get complaints that I take too long. I get a lot of complaints now. Labels. I was at label video shoot 2 weeks ago, and before the 2 weeks ago, my friend hit me up and was like, yo, man, I send you all these clientele, and they always say that, yo, Gambino's amazing, phenomenal. The way he thinks is crazy, but that 8 business days is annoying. And because like I had to change that just because like, I don't know, I felt like I don't know, like I have this weird thing where I feel like I was doing so much of the same type of thing. And I wanted to change up the editing. And you've noticed that the scene in New York has shifted with the way people edit videos now. So it's not as easy. It's still not as easy as it was back then. You have all this masking now, all this Luma keying and ultra key and green screen and stuff, which, at my time when we were just starting in WorldStar, no one really dabbled too much into that. Like I remember the Bet on It video with PNB Rock. I stood up, I went home, I shot it. I went to my studio that I used to own in Astoria, Queens, and stayed up all night on coffee doing the drawing scribble lines that I actually learned from Cole Bennett, watching him real fast. And I'm just like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do this. And I didn't realize that was my first attempt. And then I realized I was like, all right, I won't be able to turn around videos as much because this new style of editing is now coming in. And I just had to adapt to it. And even now, I take 8 business days. And sometimes lately, I've actually been going back to my roots and knocking them out in one day. But it's hard now. It's really hard.
Yeah, but I mean, so just to keep it like general, especially for anybody who's hearing, like to expect a video to be shot and edited and given to you next day is kind of it's crazy. Like even 8 business days, that's ultra fast. Even in my industry, like if I tell my clients I got them in a week with the edit, that's God level, because
that's nuts, bro. They complain. They complain for everything. Like artists will always complain, like, yo, 8 business days is crazy. I remember one guy was like, yeah, you're a smart ass kid. I said, why? He goes, because think about it, 8 business days, meaning Saturday and Sunday, we know not to bother you. I was like,
for
facts.
real.
I was like, yeah, I like my days off. My girlfriend actually forced me to do that. Like forced it in me. Like, yo, you need time off. Like that should be family time. Like Saturday and Sunday should just be about us, be about the family, not like you constantly working. Like, bro, I shoot 28 videos a month for the past 4 years. Like, no, 5 years now. Like nonstop. And to this day now, same thing. I shoot every day.
Damn. Yo, you gotta thank your girlfriend for that, for freaking making you rest, because
it's crazy. Like
editing like that is wild. It's not.
It gets crazy sometimes. I get a headache, bad headaches.
Yeah, no. I mean, so that's the thing. I think, so like with the way that the industry is shifting now, a lot more people have cameras. A lot more people are getting into editing. I know a lot of people who don't even shoot; they just edit. That's all they do. They just edit. You sum the videos. They do the editing. So there is a lot of. I'm not gonna say competition. Let's just say there's more people in the industry. But everyone has to realize that in order for it to be directed, meaning there's a flow, there's a script, there's some ideation going into it. Like there's a thought process of like this scene, that scene, how we're gonna do this, how we're gonna do that. To shoot it, to have it edited to where it looks like where everything's good and color corrected, and you got all these effects, because all that green screen, that luma keying, that freeze framing, masking. That all takes like literally 5 seconds of just like a freeze frame where you multiply the person. That takes an hour.
Oh yeah. Imagine having to do that multiple clips.
Yeah.
Crazy, bro. Like I sit there and I'll be like scratching my head like, oh, here we go again. When I would edit it, I'll never forget this. Like every time I know, because I know how to, when a client hits me up, it's so weird because I maybe because I've been doing this so long, but I kind of already know what I'm gonna expect, if that makes sense. Like I already know it, like I feel it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be one of those videos, like get ready for the effects, or oh, there's gonna be a cinematic one. Like you can tell, like you can off rip tell. And obviously, from looking at their previous work of who they work with and stuff like that, you kind of like, you could tell, you just could tell, and it's crazy. And I remember my brother-in-law be like, yo, how the hell do you know? And I was like, bro, when you do this so long, no matter the age of the artist, you kind of know already. Like, you gotta expect it. They want shit fast, and they don't know like how long it takes, that process. And you have to have like a good computer, like a really good computer. And I shoot, like a lot of my videos are shot in 6K, and you need power, like power horse on. Like I'm talking like I spend almost maybe 8 to 9,000 on the computer I'm using right now to talk to you. Like and this is my work computer. Like I had to like really, because I wasn't gonna go PC as much as I wanted to. I love Mac so much, changed my life. So I was like, I ain't leaving y'all.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Yo, so quick, just kind of to like bounce off of that. When I started video editing and working on stuff, I was using, I don't know, this rundown old laptop, this old PC laptop. And when I finally switched over to like MacBook, and this was still like an old MacBook, it was like a 2013 MacBook, just enough to get by. And the editing time and the rendering time, it would take forever. And I always tell my client, I'm like, look, it's literally like, in order for me to change one thing and re-render it, it's gonna take me like another 2-3 hours. Like,
yeah, what would get me really upset, and you maybe probably run through this problem too, when they'll be like, yo, but you could use proxies. And it's like, dude, proxies takes as much time to render them as that. Then like, bro, you won't get your video until the next year. Like, that's how I felt. And I
Yeah.
came from using a Dell Inspiron B110, 256 megabytes,
Oh
257 gig hard
my
drive.
God.
That was my first PC I had. And I was learning Sony Vegas Pro and Movie Maker at the time. And I was downloading templates off of YouTube after watching Shane Dawson and all Fred and all these
Yep.
people. Like, I literally like would do this, and the process was just out of this world. And that was even before I even picked up a camera, before I went to acting school. Like, I was just dabbling into computers. I used to build computers in my neighborhood for people,
Okay.
like just to make extra cash. Like,
Yeah.
people literally, if you knew how many amounts of porn I've had to clean out of people's computer, and viruses and like things, and I used to build computers, take hard drives out, like swap them, RAM, everything in my own neighborhood. Like, you'd be surprised at how much money you can make in the neighborhood doing like fixing computers at the same time as working in a deli. Like, it was
Yeah.
hilarious, the stuff that I was doing. So
Oh,
that
that's
struggle,
dope.
I know, man. I know that struggle is bad. You know, so, you know?
It is. So real quick, so this is one thing that I really wanted to ask and I was curious about. Because I know a lot of creatives fail when it comes to the aspect of actually building a business, like making their name and the work that they do into a business. So how did you transition, or what went through your mind? Like, what was that process from going to like, I'm just this guy making videos on the daily to, all right, I gotta actually LLC this, put my name up, put these, contracts in, and do things the right way.
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen it, but my girlfriend is the one that actually LLC'd my business.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I didn't really plan so much to do that because I don't know, like, I don't know how to even explain that, to be honest. I just didn't feel like I wanted to LLC my name, really. I wanted to really build like I always had this weird thing, at least from where I've come from, like, it's just like, I don't know. I still sometimes think that this is when they're gonna fail. As screwed up as that sounds, like, I have it in the back of my mind. It's like I'm kind of programmed that way. I feel like I didn't think this was gonna last as long, and sometimes I still don't think it's gonna last as long. And she's like, you know what, we gotta LC this because you're seeing a lot amount of money, and also, like, I had to do it because the labels don't want to hand you money unless you are a LLC. And that's a lot of,
Yep.
like, that's one of the biggest things. I'm happy I'm saying this on your platform because I get this question asked every year at least 100 times, maybe 365 times, just a whole year. People are like, oh, but how are you getting these label videos? And it's like, dude, you just have to LLC your business because they feel more secured about it. And that's what forced the LLC, to be honest with you. That's really what forced it, because if it wasn't for that, I would just continue doing what I was doing, where, hey, Cash App, Zelle, and invoice and stuff like that. And, like, once you start getting label videos where you're hitting like 9,000, 10, 12, and it's going higher, think about it. They don't want to just hand some random kid that money and then you leave and that's it. There has to be a paper trail, insurance to fall back on. So, like, I went to a label and they was like, yo, we're not giving you shit until you decide to LLC your business, because even though we trust you, we know you for a long time, it helps us be more secure, God forbid. And it just worked like that. And I'm very thankful that she did that because, it forced me to really focus on the business aspect, because I've always had this thing, like, where I knew how I wanted to run my business, but I never wanted my business to just be me by myself, which it's kind of still is now. Just me and my brother-in-law, and my boy Stoops. That's another guy that
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I
yeah,
started
like,
following Snoops after I saw your
yeah,
video. Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. That's a story that's insane too. But yeah, the LC is just as important. I always tell people, like, hey, once you have an LC and you're actually friends with A&Rs in business, they'll trust you. They'll give you that budget. Because I remember the label once told me, I went to 300 once, and they were like, listen, we love your work, but you know, there's no insurance. You could just walk away with this money. You can just leave us. You can't do anything. So I was like, all right. And she did it, and she, I remember the day she did it, we sat there in the office. I'm like, I'm asking all these questions because, it's a director Gambino. Like, I built that name from nothing.
Yep.
And I was so scared to do that. Like, I was frightened, bro. And, the guy was like, yo, everything's going to be all right, man. Like, I got you. We'll take care of you. and it just worked out. And since I've done that, I'm gonna lie, everything has easily transitioned to a more professional way. To a business
Yeah.
now. I feel like Nike almost in a way. So
Yep. No, but that's dope, and I think, and and thank you for sharing that because I think that's the part that a lot of creatives fail at. Um, that they stay stuck as just this dude doing work, doing creative business, doing logos, doing video, doing editing, but they never really take it serious as a business. And the thing is that once you LLC something, like once you actually have your business, now also everything's a tax write off.
yeah,
So there's a
everything.
lot more benefits.
Space right here. This space is technically my office. Tax write-off.
Yeah.
Me taking, let's say, a cab to a video shoot. Anything that has to do with your business. And a lot of people obviously are missing out on that. Like they don't even know. People just wake up, grab a camera, start shooting, and like, yo, I'm dope, I'm lit. And it's like once you get tired of what you're doing, and you want to, take it to the next level, they don't know what to do because no other videographer is telling them this. No other videographer is out there saying, hey, like, yo, you need to get an LLC. Like you have Jacob Owens from the Buff Nerds. I love that guy. That he somewhat puts information out there. The dude from Jersey, Nimi Hendrix. I've been
Yeah,
watching my whole entire life, literally. And he probably gonna see this. I'll probably show him this, and he'll be like, "Wow, I didn't even know. Like you followed my career. I followed his whole career, like since he's been on the gram." And he's someone that I've always looked at because he turned his business from nothing to something, and he LLC'd. Does the proper thing. He's, to me, I always tell people like, "Yo, go watch his stories. Like he'll put you on." Without even having to physically talk to you, he will put you on, give you the knowledge you need, which is important because people just think, oh, I'm gonna grab a camera, I'm gonna shoot videos. And then they'll sit there and be like, okay, why am I not getting the Justin Bieber video or that type of, or the Drake video? And it's like, because those guys are LLC'd and they've built a great relationship with the label and they have a team. That's another thing I've realized. You have to somewhat have a team when you start working with labels because then they start to think that you are taking all their money for yourself because we're considered hybrids. As far as I read in this article a few days ago,
yeah.
directors that do mostly everything, which we're forced to, we are hybrids, and which a lot of video production companies do not like because of the fact that we taking up all their jobs. I'm literally an editor, DP, colorist, everything.
Yeah.
And they really don't like us because of that. We've changed that film industry very different. So
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, honestly, the fact that you are doing everything, you're actually worth a lot more.
than what you
And
charge.
yeah, and people don't realize because if you actually brought on set the dude that does the lighting, if you brought on set the actual sound guy, if you brought on set, um, just everybody else, all the grip, the
Camera operators, assistant
camera
director,
operators, yeah,
PAs, bro, that cost money. And and people, I mean, not saying all artists, but some artists don't understand that either. And we could go on and on about this because I actually really argue about a lot of this stuff with a lot of artists and people and just people in general that ask, because honestly, like, we charge so much less than what these big guys charge, and we're doing almost about the same.
if
And
not,
I've also I've also seen with my own eyes that a lot of big name directors, which I will not mention, actually watch us and take what we do and use it in their videos. I've countlessly times seen this, and I've noticed it. Like, and they probably get double what we would, double,
yeah.
triple what we do, and it sucks, man. That's one thing that sucks. Like, it really sucks.
Yeah.
It hurts my soul knowing that.
I mean, but and then that's where like the kind of like a double-edged sword because in order to bring it's hard to bring people on. It's hard
Yeah,
to have an editor that you trust that's
really.
gonna have your work ethic, that's gonna have your the turnaround time. And then not only just an editor, but even just the colorist, the person who does the coloring, that's a whole different person. Like
Whole.
people don't understand. The director is not the person who holds the camera. The
Not at all.
cameraman doesn't touch the computer.
Nope. And we do every single thing, and just to get money, I guess, not as much as we want. I mean, some dudes are lucky. Like I got lucky as hell because I like rose up my prices and everything. And I feel like now that people know my name and I've done all this stuff, it kind of like falls. And I realize it's different. It's so different. Like you'll get more money because of your resume. And like in the underground scene, it's all about your resume, really. And who have you worked with that has inspired them to be rappers?
Yeah.
And if you're like some new dude that just comes out of nowhere, you're gonna be stuck shooting a lot of free videos until you build that hype around you, so where you can actually be like, yo, I charge this much, or hey, I charge that. I found it very interesting that when I went to my first time in LA, I realized that I like learned all that like so fast. I sat with some dude and he really spoke to me, and I learned the truth about the behind the scenes that people don't want to talk about. Just like in New York, there's
Yeah.
a lot of people don't want to talk about what really is. Like you mentioned it earlier about the competition and things. There's a massive competition in New York right now, like with videographers, as much as I love it because I in tune to it, it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty crazy, pretty crazy. Like I've had my shares of internet battles with people.
Oh yeah, no, that's always gonna be there.
Yeah, I love it though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love that competition. I love when someone says, "Yo, I'm better than you," or "I can do this better than you," or when someone tries to steal your client. I love that because
Yeah,
you just gonna make make
it
me
just
work.
makes you, yeah, it just makes you want to try harder and do more, and
Ain't nothing dangerous than a shark in the water that's hungry.
for sure. I get you on that. So real quick, I wanted to ask, because I've noticed some of your, like, I wanted to ask about your creative process when it comes into filmmaking, but I noticed that the videos that you shoot are all or mostly handheld. You have
Mhm.
this like handheld effect, and I see the way you hold the camera. I'm always learning, but what made you go more for that style, or does that style just work more when it comes to like hip hop videos? Or
Okay, so I do go. I use three pieces of gear. This is like my go-to. I don't do handheld with my hands anymore. I'll use a shoulder rig instead,
okay,
and still give it the same look. Um, and the reason for the handheldness is because of the fact that on a Ronin you're limited as hell. And I've once I my friend Chris got me my first DP ever for video, and he was using a glide cam, and I realized how the glide cam can shift left to right, for those nice shots that go in. And I remember like I was saying to myself, like, yo, I can't do that on a Ronin unless I'm zooming in and like keyframing it to do these things. So I was like, yo, all right, let me see. Most of the videos in New York are mostly done handheld because we're using a lot of drill beats. I was like, it depends. You have to listen to the record and see. So I remember I put it on. I practiced it. I put it on the gimbal. I tried. My Ronin was not moving the way I wanted to. It's something just about magical about the glide cam that just gives you this non-mechanic feel.
mm-hmm.
And then when I would do the handheld, I would practice every day. I would put weights on my shoulder rig so that my hands can understand the weight of it so that I won't be able to shake. So I would literally put weights and turn the camera. It's like a workout almost. It's like going
Yeah,
in, going out, and until it became to the point where now in my videos you can't tell if it's a glide cam or like a handheld, shoulder rig. So I would just practice that. I like using the shoulder rig because it gets something about the camera moving with the artist that just looks amazing. Those up close shots, moving like this, or like, with some things you can't do in a Ronin. The Ronin is great for like, those cinematic shots, but I love handheld so much. Changed my life. That it gives that video a feel. It makes the viewer feel like they're with you, like they're
yeah.
shaking with you, like the intensity. For instance, when you watch Saving Private Ryan, when they're bombing the city, you don't see a glide cam gliding through. You see the
Oh yeah,
intensity,
you see the cameras. Yeah,
the shaking. When someone's running, the killer is running to a girl before she trips and falls. It's not a glide cam; it's a shoulder rig. It's giving it that shake. It intensifies the scene. So that's kind of like why I do that. To be honest,
dope. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I've noticed, and I've seen it in the videos, and I'm just like, and it looks. The thing is, it looks super smooth, but I'm like
Good
the
observation, man.
movements.
That's a really good observation. That's crazy. Like to really break that down like that.
Yeah, no, no, because I mean, like, you can tell that it's like it's smooth enough, but you can tell that like how the camera's moving. I'm like, there's no gimbal on this. There's
There's another trick to that though that I'll tell you after this video. There's an actual crazy trick to that.
all right.
Like that you wouldn't even expect. I just learned it last week. I was amazed. It changed my whole editing process after I saw that.
Damn. All right, I'm gonna hold on to that second. I'm gonna need that tip. Yeah, because it's dope because I always see I love studying like different styles of like filmmaking and I'm one of those people that like I hate to follow what's in trend.
Me too.
I don't know. It's like it's so annoying because like obviously it's always like what's in, it's what people want and they want to pay for, but I'm just like I can't do it. Like I have to switch up my style like every time and do something different, try something different, or else it just it becomes repetitive and then you lose the fun of creating, and things like that.
Yo, that really is true. You do. I totally feel you on that. I actually battle that a lot, like trying to change. Because I don't know. There's a website. Instagram called What and New York Sounds Like. You ever watched heard
Nah,
of it?
that one I haven't seen.
You really should. It's actually pretty cool. It keeps you in tune to what the hell's happening in New York. They put up a nominee of like director nominee for the year, and they had all these directors there. And again, this is no shade. I've put my view on this already on my story. Every video, almost every video except one in that category looked exactly the same. And it bothered me because some of these dudes that are nominated for director of the year or whatever, I know some of their work does not look like that. Like it looks way better than that, way creative, way, and I was just amazed that I was just like, yo, but all this shit looks the same. Like, and it bothered me. Like it really irked me that I was like, nah, this is bad. Like, like this is really bad. Like how I was like, I remember I said to myself, is it like, it's like, do we not have a bigger goal? Like my goal is I'm trying to be like Colin Tilley. That's my idol. Like I love that guy. Like I've had full blown convos with him, and that's inspired my whole entire thing. I don't know if you're familiar with Colin Tilley, but he just did the Justin Bieber Hold On video. He's done Anaconda. He's done all the major hits. He used to be signed to London Alley. He has a company called Boy in the Castle, and they're phenomenal. Like phenomenal. Their videos. He's done J Balvin's videos, practically all of them in colors. He is to me the GOAT of the century when it comes to videos now. And like the goal is to do that, to do things like that, to push the boundary. And I understand that some artists may not have the money or the funds, but do your best to not try to recreate what we see in the street all the time. It's the competitive, we all see it, the gas station, the bodega.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, it works. I see Little Baby's videos with 42 Thug. I see it. It works, but you add your flavor to it. You know what I'm saying? And that shit. When I saw that nominee thing, I just stood back and was like, nah, this year I'm doing whatever the hell I can to separate those videos as much as I could, because the point is to be seen, to win awards, to not just stay in the underground world. And it's cool. It's a great place to be. I get it, but there's higher than that. There's something higher. I was so hurt by that. I was really hurt by it. I think the whole week I was talking about it. I called my boy Stoops. I'm like, yo, this is breaking my heart right now because there's more to this, and I learned that now being older. Like I'm 29 years old. Like I'm literally been doing this since I was about 18. And even though all those people who were nominated were young, and they're basically, it's the circle, I guess, we were there. I'm just like, yo, there's more to this, man. Like, there's more to this, I want a Justin Bieber video so bad.
Yeah, no, I feel on that. Yeah, and I mean, and of course you see it. Like that's with like every genre. Like if there's a hip hop video, if there's a rap video, like it's a trap video, you already know the feel. You already know where it's gonna be shot, how it's gonna be shot. You already know, like, they're gonna have their squad with them. There's gonna be
a few guns,
the girls bumping on the cars, like there's like those certain elements.
Yeah, it's funny. You ever seen those memes when they're shooting and the guy pull out the gun, the video, the camera? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do that shit so many times. It's crazy, crazy, bro. I remember I had AK-47s pointed at me when I was in Detroit in the video, and stories for days, man.
Nah, I don't think I'd be able to deal with that.
I mean, you know, it's crazy. I don't really be scared because I usually I tell them I check the chamber,
Yeah,
to take out the clip, all this other shit. But yeah, crazy shit.
crazy. So, what has been your, I guess, like your favorite artist or favorite video, like most memorable for you that you've like shot or something?
Um, hmm. So this is a question I've always been asked about what's my favorite video, and honestly, I don't have one. That's as weird as that is. I really don't have one. I like all my videos. I love the people I work with. It's always a great experience. I I mean, it's hard, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That's a hard question. That's probably the hardest question I've ever been asked because I really do like all my videos. Like all my videos. I mean, I don't watch them after I send them out, to be honest. That's another thing. I don't watch my videos. After I send it out to someone, I never watch it
That's
again.
it, done.
Yeah, because I can't. I can't. I feel like I raised it as a child. I'm creating it. I'm spending
Yeah,
hours on it. But honestly, I don't really don't have a favorite video, man. I really don't. I mean, favorite person to work with, you know, it's always everybody. I mean, I've had those few hiccups where even I've had something crazy happen with a big artist a few times, that I did not like what happened, and that actually changed my business plan after those type of incidents. Yeah, maybe I don't know. My friend Blaze, my boy Ty Wave, maybe. You know, like we always have great times and shoot videos. I don't have a favorite person or video, to be
all right.
honest.
So I noticed that you also shot a video with who is it? Little AGs. How was that? How?
So, okay, so it was a cool experience. I actually reached out to him to shoot it because I was like, "Yo, this is pretty cool." I'm like, "You're a young kid. Let's do it." Like, I'm down. I met with him at the studio. Damn, I don't remember the name. I went to some studio. They were doing like a little interview with him and stuff. And he's a cool kid, yo. I really like him. Like he's dope. I think he's intelligent as hell. Funny, funny. Like super funny. And it was a good experience, yo. We shot the video. It's funny because it was a miscommunication on a point because I really wanted to do the video that I did wasn't the way it was supposed to be. Like we had an
Mm,
actual video treatment and everything and how I wanted it to play out. But you know, certain things didn't go well and it ended up being the way it was, which I'm not mad at. People liked it and stuff and they love how it looked, but it was pretty cool, man, to see like how many people really support him. And you know, he's a really funny kid. And you know, honestly, like I kept saying to myself, like, damn, I wish I had a little brother. This would be him right here. Like
yeah.
yeah, I would be doing the same thing, bro. And he's funny as hell. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you, everything that kid does is hilarious to me, even when he doesn't try. And you could tell that he's a cool sweet kid. Like he's a really cool nice
Yeah,
kid. Like
that's the thing. Yeah, he
not
seems
as bad
like,
as it looks.
yeah, and like from the media perspective, you could probably be like, yo, what is going on? Who is this kid? But you
Yeah.
could tell that he's actually like pretty genuine and chill and
Yeah, bro, he's really genuine, and you could tell like there's a lot of innocence in there. Like he's a good kid, like, and he's really fun to work with. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like he would come to me and be like, "Yeah, Gambino, you know, that shot was fire. Let me see that again." Oh yeah, like he would, and I would look at him and laugh because I don't remember being a kid. Like I don't. When I was a kid, we weren't like that, and it's cool to see how developed fast that kid is. Like, and he was just like, "Yeah, oh that's fire, yeah, yo, I like that game, you know, yeah." And I would just look at him and be like, "Oh man, you're so like, yo." I remember I would record every second. Like I have videos of him still, like of like stuff that we did together and shit. And yo, I love that kid. Like he's hilarious, hilarious.
as though that's awesome though. Yeah, that you're able to like to meet them like on a personal level and actually
Yeah,
like
you
know
should.
who
I
they
feel like
are.
people should, man. I feel like people should. I feel like it shouldn't always be business, man. You want to build. You always say you want to have a good time in a video. Yo, talk to them. Be friends. Like build that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Don't run and be like, "Yo, it's business. Let's shoot this video. I gotta go." Nah, man. Like you know, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on the video thing, but most of the time in my videos, bro, I literally hang out, smoke with them, laugh, chill. You know, really how do you like build a relationship, a friendship? You know what I'm saying? Like, you catch me on video shoots all the time. I'm smoking, I'm laughing with people. Like, I
Yep.
get into their world, whether or not if I smoke or not. Like, I do it because I want to be with them. I want to psychologically understand them. You know, I ask them questions like, "Yo, how would you start rapping? Or where you from?" You know, these little things really help you create that vision for their video because then you start to know what they like, what they don't like. It's like doing research, man. I do research so much on every artist I work with.
Yep.
And but some of them don't even know that. Like I find everything. Like I go on their Facebook, I'll find something they posted years ago, just so I can get a good sense of who they are, who they like, and what they're about. So I always
For
say build
sure.
a relationship with the artist you work with, man.
Yeah, no, that's super important. I think like I know definitely for myself personally, like the best work that I've done is when I really knew the people, when we were able to like talk one on one, know each other, not just like, oh, there's a company, you shoot, here's product. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's always cool to build that relationship with those people. I
Yeah.
love it. Bro, I've made so many friends all over the country because of that. Because it's just being regular, turning off the camera for once and having a convo.
Yep. No, no, I feel that, and I think that's the biggest thing of any like building any business or building a name for yourself is you really have to just be human. Like if people know you for who you are, they're gonna want to hire you. They're gonna want to work with you. They're gonna appreciate the work that you do because you're, they know you. They know your morals. They know what you're about. So it just makes the whole work experience that much
That's a
easier.
fact, man. It's so important in the video shoot beforehand too, after.
That's dope. So, really quick, so to wrap up, I always ask this question, and it's for me, I think it's one of the most important things. Um, for upcoming creatives or directors or filmmakers, if you had like one piece of advice that you could give, like your golden nugget, like forget everything else, take this one thing, run with it, what would that advice be?
Yeah, it would be. To be honest, it would be like don't do what you want to do. There isn't a rule book in this. This isn't. There isn't a how to be a filmmaker for dummies. There isn't any of that. And if there is, I don't even know. But do what you want to do at the end of the day. That's it. Like do what you want to do. Don't you know other things will inspire you, but do what you want to do. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things we kind of don't listen to because we see, like you said, the trends. And if we do these trends, is that really what we want to do? Like, is it really something we want to do? So I always tell people to do what they want to do. Do what they want to do and continue practicing on it. Just keep working hard. Just do what you want to do. Because I learned that the hard way. So and that's why I'm telling, like, yeah, do what you want to do. That's it. You should be good with that. Like people, I feel like people like they just want to follow stuff that's going on and do this and that. And it's like, be true to yourself. Do what you want to do. And 9 out of 10, the artist will like what you decide to do.
For sure. 100% agree with that. Yeah. No, because I mean, the thing with following trends and doing things because there's hype is that you'll burn out and you will not like it and you'll
Crash
stop
and
doing
burn.
it.
Yeah. Crash and burn, man. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. And it's not a pretty sight because it's not easy to come back from like crash and burns, man. It's
Oh,
not.
yeah. No. I was at a point before like COVID hit and everything. I was at a point where I was just like, yo, I am done with filmmaking, with editing, with every type of work. Like I didn't want to deal with anybody, but since like COVID happened, I kind of was able to take a break and just like reset and realign. And now since then, I've been like everything's good. I've been able to like clearly, articulate like what I want to do, the people who I want to work with, and things have been like solid since
It's
then.
crazy you say that. I did the same thing in the beginning of the year. Once the new year came, I like took a whole 2 weeks off for the first time ever. I took all 2 weeks off, and I was just like trying to like figure out what to do because you do this for so long, and it's like you see all the new guys come up, and you can get very worried about your position in this industry very fast. And now I'm not saying I was worried, but I was more or less just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know how to like explain it. Like, I feel like you have to like this. It's a mental thing with this video business that a lot of people don't understand, and it's just the fact that like I don't know. I've been doing this. I was doing this for so long, and then for the first, I've never really got to fully enjoy all the great things that came out of it. If that makes sense, you're
Yep.
so stuck and tuned into like being this, doing these videos, working with these famous artists, doing this, moving back, that you actually you never step back and realize how far you become until it finally settles down. And for the first time in all these years that I've been doing this, I literally took those 2 weeks off and it hit me. Like I was like, whoa, like, yo, I've done a lot. Like I went to China. That still blows my mind.
Dude,
I was
that's
in China
crazy.
for a whole month. And like I never like I was looking. This is a director that I like. His name is JMO Productions. I really like him. He's cool kid. Reminds me so much of me. And seeing like his uprise right now in the city is like watching me do it. And it's cool because now I understand what the younger crowd was looking at, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Like me seeing it from me, if that makes sense. And I really like his work, man. Like I like his work, his determination, everything. And like, he hits me up here and there and I like always give advice to him and shit. And it's amazing seeing him come up because I get to see what it was like for me, really. Because when you're in the ride, you're not looking at all this stuff. Like
Oh,
you're
not
not
at
looking
all.
at anything. You're so sucked into to what you're doing that you kind of not gonna experience. And that's another thing I would tell artists is like, step back and look around because, bro, you're gonna it's gonna hit you. It happens fast. Like it happens so fast. Like I don't know, man. It's just crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
And I love seeing it. Like I'll be watching his videos and just him as a person, and I'm like, yo, you're dope. Same thing with my boy Stoops, man. Like my boy Stoops, every time he does something big and successful and it works, I always look at him and I'm like, yo, it's like watching myself, literally watching myself, because you don't. I never have the time. Didn't have the time to see it. Like I
That's
really
dope.
went to China. That shit really blew my mind. Like to this day, I think about that trip every day, because I was just like, damn, bro, I'm some dude from Queensbridge, like.
Who the
A
hell would
lot of
fly me out to China?
yeah, like a lot of my friends who've passed away on this journey of me being a like director, like we would talk about these things. These were just things we would talk about, and it's an emotional roller coaster, especially like being from where I'm from, because it's like you talk about doing all these big things and doing things with your friends, and then because of where we live, like a lot of them have been shot and killed, and it's just crazy, like seeing like not being able to laugh with them again and tell them like, yo, remember we were talking about going to China? Now look, I'm in China, like, and it was just a life-changing experience. That's how I always tell people, like, try to enjoy this shit, like enjoy it as much as possible, because one day we're gonna be old as hell and won't be able to do this again.
Yeah. Oh,
Crazy.
100%. Thank you for sharing that. And again, I'm sorry for all the losses that you've had.
Oh yeah, I
It's,
guess life.
yeah. No, it does get crazy. And like you said, a lot of times, especially now with life, things nowadays move so fast. There's so much with like social media that you just get lost and you don't take time to appreciate like where you are, where you came from, what you're
Yeah,
doing.
man. It's crazy, bro. I'm not excited we did this interview, man. I love this type of shit because I feel like you know, I feel like it helps people because, like what you're doing, your whole platform, like I like the fact that you do this. You take time to do this because you don't know how many times I said I would do something like this and then never do it. And it's good to
Yeah.
have your platform because like I personally feel like a lot of videographers go through a lot of shit and they think that they're the only ones going through it. And if they find out that someone who went through it was able to break out of it and continue going, I feel like it helps them understand, like, all right, I won't get stuck here. I can continue going. Like someone made it out, I can make it out of that too. So, because you can get into a crazy sadness and depression off this video shit, especially like I've witnessed it all from other people, directors and shit, and it gets crazy. You start thinking your content is not good enough. You start to see other people who just started and started rising up to the top, and it can really put a pressure on your mental health. So I always tell people like, yo, it's not that serious. Like,
Yeah.
just
No,
keep
and
working.
the imposter syndrome, you always think like you're nobody. You know what I mean? You always feel like you're copying, you're trying to be something you're not. And it's just like, no, you're just on your
Bro,
journey.
I
You're
feel like
going.
that too. I'll be on the train sometime, and people will be like, "Yo, Gambino, bro, your work is fire." And every time that happens, I get so shy. I stutter as hell, and then I just laugh because I'm like, "Yo, that's cool." Like I was able to do something that people know you for, which is always great. Cool
Yeah.
shit. I remember going to the mall, bro, once in Jersey City. I went to a mall, and a bunch of kids run up to me and was like, "Yo, your videos is fire, bro. Like, yo, I love your work. I love your work." And I remember I stood there stuck. I didn't know what to say. And I was like, oh man.
You're
Because
just like, how the hell? How do you know
yeah,
me?
where I come from, that does not happen. Like where I come from, it does not happen. It's either you're an athlete or a drug dealer. That's it. And like it's either those two. And I'm kind of short. I'm really short. I'm not that tall. I'm only 5'5", and I could play football really well. I played in high school, and I can't be a drug dealer because I don't understand that shit. I don't understand the mathematical stuff for it. So it doesn't work for me, man. So I always tell people like, yo, don't, if I act a little weird, it's because I'm not accustomed to that. Like I'm not. So
Yeah, and of course. And I mean, and that's the thing that a lot of people have to realize is that even the famous artists and famous directors and all these people is like everyone's literally just a normal person who did something they loved and were able to make it happen. But we're still just like, you know, chilling. I'm still my mom and dad's son. I'm still this person's brother. Like I'm just the same kid that grew up in this neighborhood.
Yeah. Yo, that's crazy you say this because I've had a kid yesterday, 2 days ago, was like, yo, man, you're about to be a dad. Like, that's so crazy. Like, you're about to be a dad. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, it's nuts because, like, that's all I've been thinking about since I found out. I've been telling people, like, yo, it's weird. Everybody's like, yo, but how are you going to do this video? And then what are you going to do? I'm like, bro, nothing's going to change. Like, it's just, just got to work harder now. Just want to work harder. And then, that's like lit up a fire now. I have like this crazy heat in my heart that I was like, I got to work harder and, just do better things and change things around. So,
yeah. No, also congratulations on that. And honestly, I feel like, your girlfriend has been super supportive, has been helping you. And that's a power couple right there. If I see it, I love freaking seeing that. And, just helped you level up and you're doing your thing. So
shout out to her. She be on it. She be on it.
I'm keeping you in check.
Yeah, a lot, yo. A lot, yo. It's a lot of the time she be stopping me from posting crazy shit on my Instagram because she's like, yo, you don't have to say shit. You don't have to say nothing.
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes we need that quick check.
She does her best. Cool. I think she's like the coolest girl in the world, man. She holds it down.
Awesome. And again, man, the Working Gambino, honestly, thank you again for, taking out the time because this is ultimately what I wanted to do is give a platform for people to, first of all, know artists, and for you guys to like give your story, let people know who you are, like, know the struggle, know the good things, learn what they can, because I feel like you said, there's a lot of media out there, but everything is so overhyped that they try to make things seem so much bigger than they are when we're all just normal people doing what we love.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm happy to be on this. I'm super happy to be on this.
Sure,
next time I'm on this shit, I'm gonna be in a bigger house.
Yeah.
Wow, I know for a fact next time we're on this, I'm gonna have that nice moon man that I be dreaming about every day.
Hey.
Every day, watch.
That's dope, bro. So let me just wrap up. So first of all, for everybody who has been watch this or listen to this, actually, Gambino, do you have anything you want to plug in before I wrap up? Like,
I don't know, just follow me on Instagram, Director Gambino.
Perfect.
I have a YouTube channel, but I don't even use it like that. So it has all my videos from back in the day.
You need to start uploading on there, man.
Hey, that's another combo, man. It's hard to do that when a lot of artists want their videos on their own thing. So
that's true.
Yeah, that's another whole process of a story. That's crazy, but yeah. Oh, just my Instagram, Director Gambino, and my Twitter. It's the same thing.
Perfect. Actually, I don't think I follow you on Twitter, but my Twitter game is so weak. It's so
mine too. Horrible. So, bro, I don't even know how to fully use it to the proper format. I don't even know how it works. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself.
For real, right? You're just
like, it's just, what's on your mind? And I'm like, oh, nobody liked this. Nobody. Oh, all right. I see the interactions, and I'm like, all right, nobody cares. I'm talking to myself. This is like therapy, I guess.
For real, that's what Twitter feels like sometimes. Man, that's awesome. All right, yep. So everybody, you heard it. Definitely follow Director Gambino on Instagram. Follow him on Twitter. Again, if you listen to this, thank you so much for taking out time. And remember, each and every one of you are super creators. You just have to go out and find your superpower. Until the next one.